Hey guys, a lot of you requested how to make a wreath, so let's do that today. First, you'll want to pick your colors, and it's nice to have that set out in advance so that you can reference it. And these are the colors that I'm picking for our wreath. And then you'll want to pick 3 to 4 different types of leaves and 3 to 4 different types of flowers so that you have variety in your wreath. So I picked a full leaf here, a mini leafed stem, and then a small little sprig. And then I have a tulip and a 4-petaled flower and these tiny little accent flowers. And now, next we're going to learn how to put it all together. Okay, first things first, I always draw a circle in the middle. I make this circle a little smaller than I want the wreath to be, and I try not to touch the circle when I'm painting. The next step is to put the biggest flower on in various places on the wreath, and they don't have to be equidistant from each other. It doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical, but kind of stagger them in a nice way around the wreath. And then next we are going to put our secondary flower, which in my case is the tulip, and they don't have to be perfectly in between. You can like superimpose them on top of each other like this so that they bleed in. You can do them like one in the middle, like right here. They don't even have to be perfect because this is an abstract wreath. And we also need to consider the center and point towards the center. So I'm going to do that with this one. I touched it. I'm going to have to erase that later, and sometimes it's hard, but it's okay. And I think I'm going to put one like right here. And then we'll move on to the next step. I think I need to add some stems to my tulips because we need to know where these tulips are coming from. And you don't need to do a complete stem, just a little bit of one. And this will help guide the direction of your wreath. Do I need to do it on these? I might as well. So I'm gonna go a little darker color. This one is like a half one, so you're looking at it from a different direction. And this one as well. Okay, now I could put in my third flower, the little tiny sprigs, but I'm gonna move on to a bigger leaf just because they take up a lot of space, and I want to save the little stuff for the end here, which is a mixture of viridian and black. And I'm just gonna go all crazy with my big leaves. And I'm going to encroach upon this circle, and that's okay. By the way, I'm not using the super fancy paper today. I'm using the Strathmore 300 series so that you know what it's like to just use basic paper. Here's another one. And just stagger them throughout like you did everything else. And it's okay if they bleed into each other. I know that's going to happen because we're working fast today. And don't forget to add some color variety by using more or less water. It really looks kind of wonky in the middle of this, and it's okay. You can't lose hope in the middle of making a wreath because it really just, there's a point where it doesn't look good, and that's okay because we're gonna get there. Okay, so next I want to add some of that green, the little green. So I'm going to come in here. I'm bleeding into each other, that's okay. next I want to make room for these little flowers, and I'm using white with a little mixture of yellow, and I'm just going to do a few of them here or there, just like that. And I can come in later and add another color on top of it to blend them. And if you see, I'm putting them kind of in little filler places where I feel like there's empty spots. But they also need to have their own moment, and so that's why you set them out as well. And then I'm gonna add my brown stems. And you have to be very light with these guys. Just kind of an afterthought. You can bleed into it like I did, or you can just allude to the fact that they're touching. Some of you may or may not like it when it does that. I don't mind it so much. I think it's kind of fun. But because I did it on this side, I feel like I may need to just do it one or two more places so it looks intentional and not like an accident. Okay, so let's step back and look at this and see what we think. I kind of feel like there's too much little and not enough big, and I feel like the green has too much contrast, and so what I'm gonna do is come back with the Viridian color but water it down, and I'm gonna just add some different leaves, kind of hint at some leaves in the middle of everything. I'll just find places for them to go. It's a good filler. It's starting to look a little better. Okay, lastly, I just want to add some centers to the flowers, and I think I want to go like a deep green just to tie it in with this dark Viridian. And it'll be pretty dark, so you may not even notice. It may just look black to you, but I don't know. I'm gonna do some tiny little dots. Yeah, that one's still wet and it looks good. I like that. Sometimes mistakes are happy accidents. I sound like Bob Ross.